Hi, everyone. Thanks very much for joining us today. Welcome to our 8th community call. For those who are joining us for the first time, just wanted to mention that we're doing that on a monthly basis. We're sharing our updates and some significant achievements in terms of our roadmap and project development. So in a nutshell, Equilibrium, the project that we are working on, is the first decentralized interoperable DeFi conglomerate based on Polkadot, which means that we are uniting on sustained DeFi use cases, including pooled lending, synthetic assets, trading on margin, and other use cases which will be accessible through our convenient user interface very soon. So on top of that, we are building Genshiro, which is the canary network for Equilibrium. And today, me and my colleagues will be sharing more insights on our latest achievements. So let me first introduce myself. I'm Alex Melikhov, the CEO and founder with the Equilibrium team. I'm responsible for the product strategy and overall strategy in terms of project development. And without further ado, let me pass it over to my colleague, Peter.
Hi, guys. Nice to be here today. My name is Peter, and as some of you probably know, I am the business analyst and the technical team manager with Equilibrium. And now let me pass the word to Luis, and he will introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Luis Haddad. I am new to the Equilibrium team. I will be joining forces to build our community in Latin America. I'm very happy to participate in these efforts, and I really appreciate the ride that we're joining. So I'll pass it back to Alex.
Awesome. Thanks, Luis, for your introduction. Just one thing that will, among others, will be touching within this presentation will be our efforts in terms of opening more local communities. So among all others, we also have opened the LATAM community, which is super exciting. And we'll be bringing more community, team members on our community calls to introduce themselves. So Luis is the first time to participate in our community calls. He will be introducing our strategy for the LATAM region, which is one of our strategic initiatives. So let me also walk you through the agenda for today's call. So first of all, we, as usual, will be sharing tech updates in terms of our project development. We'll be touching on integration of Ledger, on integration of DAI stablecoin, which is very important for our liquidity bootstrapping and further. I will give you the lowdown on Kusama auctions, obviously update you on the latest results on that, and share the strategy for the second round, just to introduce sort of roadmap and how exactly we're aiming to get the slots. In the next auctions, there will be very important information for those who participated in our EQ Gents lockdrop. So we'll be sharing some updates on lockdrop and its mechanics. As I said, we will be touching opening local communities, including Turkish, Vietnamese, Russian, and LATAM communities. We will share some plans on our production launch, and Peter will give the walkthrough through our curve implementation. So let me pass it over to Peter, who will be covering our tech updates now.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. So it's been a pretty busy month, as usual, and we have some exciting stuff to share with you guys. First of all, we have finished implementation or integration of Curve to our substrate, and basically we have a fully functioning stablecoin pool currently operational in our testnet. And later on today, I'll be showing you how it all works via our Slick UI. We've finished all the integration testing, and we even tested the fee redistribution back to VCRV holders. As you may know, and if some of you don't, we are actually partnered up with the Curve DAO Foundation, and we've built an official Curve implementation as part of the open grants program within Polkadot, and we're happy to announce that basically everything is ready, up and running, and it just waits to be released to the mainnet. Apart from that, we've also designed, of course, all the UI interfaces, and you will be seeing them later on today. Last time I was talking about our backend task, and this is like a huge epic for us. And basically, we're putting all of the extrinsic events and balance updates to our database, and we are not only collecting that from Equilibrium chains, but we are also collecting some of the information regarding crowd loans, both from Kusama and Polkadot networks. And we've basically finished all the technical part. We've outlined all the data structures, and currently we have all the data in our database. It loads smoothly. We constantly update it, and we use the data to actually calculate some stuff on the front end. So at the end, users will be able to see how their portfolios perform, what are their debt levels, how much interest they pay, how much interest they have paid in total, how much liquidity farming rewards they have accumulated, etc., etc. Everything is available in our interface, and we are moving slowly in terms of covering all of the endpoints and interface display places to be aligned with the API. We are currently in the middle of our work on our decentralized exchange, and this is the most exciting part, at least for me, because it's a very challenging task, and we've been doing a lot of research and a lot of coding so far on it. And basically, currently, we're working on the order book data structure and how to efficiently store it on chain, and we have prototyped it and already building it. We're also working on orders and margining of people's or users' accounts when there are orders present in different markets. And looks like within this or maybe next week we will be ready, at least with all the core DEX functionality, but it won't be covered with tests or integration tests as of now. And we're almost done with the basic DEX interfaces, which are really slick and simple, and we wanted to make it as easy as possible for a user to interact with our DEX. And so hopefully sooner than later, we'll be able to showcase everything we have done in this direction so far as well. So that's it for the tech updates. And Alex, let's please go to the next slide. Yes, the ledger functionality. As you know, and last time I already covered ledger briefly as well. We're the first Polkadot-based project who actually implemented the support for the ledger cold storage wallet within our blockchains. That's a good news, and we've also applied to be included into the Ledger Live Store, so our app can appear there and users will be able to download it from there and use it directly. But unfortunately, Ledger, they haven't provided us with any ETA on when it will get approved. But as of now, we have like a separate instruction for our Ledger users who can use Ledger with our custom scripts, which are not yet part of the Ledger Live Store. And basically, to be able to use the custom script, there's an instruction what you need to do. One point here is that it's not available for Ledger Nano X users, unfortunately, because Ledger doesn't allow to upload custom scripts to the Nano X device. So Nano X users will have to wait for our application to be approved and uploaded to the Ledger Live Store. That's it for the Ledger, and now let's go and talk about some initial liquidity within our system. Yes, this is one of the exciting news because, as you know, every money market functionality depends on how much liquidity there is in the system, and we have been in close contact with the stable node Guys, that's a fund related to DAI and everything DAI trading, and they've committed to actually providing some liquidity to our system in DAI stablecoins, which is really, really cool because it opens up a lot of use cases, both for liquidity providers and our users. For example, if you bring in DAI to our system and put it into the curve pool, you will get liquidity pool tokens, and those tokens in turn may be used within our borrowing and lending functionality. So basically, you have some sort of collateral superfluidity here, and you can earn both the trading fees on the DAI you put into the curve and also the liquidity farming rewards and bailsman interest rewards on the LP tokens you put in our liquidity pools. And I'll be showing everything related to this use case today later on when I'll be presenting our interfaces. That's it for the DAI integration. And now let me pass the word back to Alex, and he will be talking about our Kusama auction results and our further plans. Yes.
Cool, Peter. Thanks very much for these updates. Really exciting how our moving parts in our system actually come together and complement each other. This DAI integration, LP tokens, and the opportunity to pledge as collateral is really an amazing use case from my perspective. Also, ledger integration is very important for specifically institutional users who are holding native assets of Equilibrium and Genshiro. And I believe the opportunity to have sort of capacity for cold storage is very important for them for sort of safe storage of these assets. So let me get back to the Kusama auctions, and definitely Kusama auctions was one of the biggest events in the Kusama and Polkadot ecosystems, and for the community as well. We saw quite a lot of activity around these auctions. We actually participated in these auctions with our canary network called Genshiro. So the landscape within these auctions was quite competitive. There were some outstanding numbers in terms of raises during crowd loan campaigns, which were shown up in the crowd loan campaigns of our colleagues in Karura and Moonriver and Shiden. So definitely the amounts of KSM raised by these projects actually over any expectations. And as we all know, like almost 10% of overall KSM supply is currently locked in the parachain auction mechanics, which is really exciting. So Genshiro actually performed, like from our standpoint, very well. Despite it, we haven't managed to get the slots during this round. However, like, let me just highlight some numbers which are really impressive from my standpoint. So first of all, we have managed to raise over 8,000 KSM, which is over $15 million according to the current market prices. So we saw quite a lot of activity on the community side during our crowd loan campaign, and actually leveraging my sort of position here in the presentation, let me thank all the contributors in our crowd loan campaign. We saw over 1,000 contributions in our crowd loan, and average contribution was 7 KSM. So we actually earned the 10th place out of 18 projects that participated in this round, which actually indicates that we have very good chance to get the slots in the next round of auctions. So if we see the breakdown of community participation, which is here on the bottom side of the slide, we can see that we actually have taken the 9th line right after Altair, and actually the sort of participation activity from the side of the community was almost at the same level as of Altair Robonomics projects, a little bit less than on Basilisk, but still it's really decent numbers, which will most likely lead to sort of win of the slots in the next batch of auctions. So let me introduce some particular numbers in terms of our strategy for the second round of auctions. I believe these numbers should indicate how exactly we are expecting to manage to get the slots. So first of all, I should admit that we will double rewards for all the contributors who actually joined our first rounds of auctions. So if you guys contributed your KSM for our parachain slots and Kusama for Genshiro, for our Genshiro Canary network, you can participate in the second round. You can expect double rewards on each KSM that you will contribute. So it basically means if you're contributing over 50 KSM, you'll be eligible to get 4,800 gens on each KSM that you put in our crowd loan campaign. So as usual, we're offering 20% bonus for contributions over 50 KSMs. So instead of 2,000 gens per each KSM, these contributors will get 2,400. So here's also some novelty. We'll be introducing the bonus for early participation, which is amounted at 25%. So if actually participants will basically contribute their KSMs during this first 7 days of our crowd loan campaign, they will receive this early participation bonus. And for example, contributing over 50 KSM, they will be eligible to get 3,000 gens against 2,400, which is really exciting. And also, here is a very interesting thing, which definitely will support the decision of potential contributors in our crowd loan campaign, at least from my perspective. Actually, we are introducing guaranteed rewards, which means that no matter whether Genshiro wins the slots or not, everyone who contributes their KSMs in our crowd loan campaign, at the end of the day, will get at least 100 gens per each KSM if we don't manage to get the slots. So on top of that, we actually currently talking to various KSM holders who are offering contributions over 500 KSM, and we have a special offer for these big boys. And for example, if you guys are aiming to contribute over 500 KSMs into our crowd loan campaign, you need to submit an application. So my colleagues will drop the link into the chat here in Crowdcast. You can follow this link and submit an application form to get a special offer in case you're aiming to contribute over 500 KSMs. Please reach out to us, get in contact, and we will keep you updated regarding this special offer. Just fill out the form and we'll get in touch with you. So another important update is actually related to our lockdrop. So we actually acknowledge that we have promised to kick off the lockdrop period right after we managed to secure the parachain slot on Kusama, and we actually understand that things are getting delayed a little bit, right? Because we haven't managed to get the slots during the first batch of auctions. So we need to wait until the next rounds will kick off and we'll manage to get the slots. So following our considerations, we decided to reduce the gens unlocking time from 90 days, which we have offered in the beginning, to down to 60 days. So basically the period when you will get penalty on unlocking or withdrawing your gens from the lock drop mechanics will be 60 days with initial penalty of 75% instead of 50%. That will be the measure to protect, like increasing of initial penalty will be the measure to protect investors, existing investors on the secondary markets, which sounds quite reasonable, given that the unlocking period is shortened quite significantly. So also I wanted to share some important numbers in terms of our lock drop. I think it will be interesting for you guys to know these numbers. So first of all, we have seen over 15 million EQ locked in our lock drop campaign, which actually means that we have over 50% of unlocked supply currently submitted for the lock drop, which is really exciting, and we definitely thankful to our community for this active participation in our lock drop. So through this lock drop, we will be distributing eventually over 150 million gens, and maybe another number which is interesting from the statistical perspective is that at average each investor has locked almost 70% of their allocations. So the countdown of these 60 days, just a heads up for everyone to set the expectations. The countdown of these 60 days will start once we launch our Kusama parachain. It's actually matched what we have stated before when we were kicking off the lock drop campaign. So as I also touched today, let me make a transition to our introduction of our LATAM strategy. So I wanted to share with you guys some news on our further marketing plans and community growth perspective. So we actually have made a strategic decision to open up local communities for our projects. And currently we have started off communities in four more countries, including Turkey, Vietnam, Russia, and also the LATAM region. And we consider these regions as strategic regions for further project development, and not only like around all this polka dots centric stuff, but also for our further product launch and acquiring end users who will be actually using our DeFi platform. So currently we see quite active participation already in these communities. So in Turkish Telegram group, we have over almost 500 participants. There are almost 400 members in Telegram group in Vietnam. So we are actively working on engagements with Russian community and LATAM community as well. And actually, we're working with influencers to basically to engage with the community, to educate local communities. We are working on translations of our existing content, which is covering different aspects of our project, into some native languages of these communities. We have also launched and will be launching more Medium sections, which will be dedicated to these native local languages. And actually, as I said, we'll be bringing more team members on these community calls. They will be sharing more information about our plans with regards to this community growth plans. And so without further ado, let me pass it over to my colleague, Luis, who will be touching on our strategy regarding the LATAM region.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so regarding Latin America, there is a lot of fertile grounds for us to grow. The financial system in Latin America is, it charges a high interest from their end users due to lack of trust. And I truly believe that decentralized finance and applications like Equilibrium can thrive on this sort of context. But in order for us to thrive, I think there are some milestones that we got to reach, and those are the objectives that we proposed over here. First of all, is to educate the crypto community about DeFi, Equilibrium, and Genshiro. Even though there are lots of crypto enthusiasts in Latin America, they are still not aware of what are the possibilities within the DeFi ecosystem. And when they enter in this DeFi ecosystem, we can actually bring their attention and raise awareness to Equilibrium and Genshiro, and show all the advantages that we have in our project. And then we aim to promote and grow our community, which I think one objective will eventually lead to the other. But for sure, there is a great thriving ecosystem happening right now. As we see El Salvador accepting Bitcoin as their native currency, and a lot of other Latin American countries adopting cryptocurrencies, we will eventually have more users and more people willing to adopt DeFi solutions. If you can please pass to the other slide. Can you please pass to the next one?
I think Alex got stuck.
Yeah. Well, on the next slide, we talk about the actions that we are going to do in order to reach these objectives. If you can, I think, yeah, you got back. Thanks, Alex. Yeah. So what are the actions that we started doing in order to reach those objectives? First of all, as Alex mentioned, is to create and translate content in Portuguese and Spanish. It's very important to have local native language talking to the end users. English is, although there's a lot of people that speak English, it's not the best way to reach mass adoption. We gotta be there talking the same language as our colleagues from Latin America. With this content, we are going to start strategic partnerships with LATAM focused PR agency in order to get a broader distribution and reach the right channels so that people can be aware of Equilibrium, Genshiro, and all projects. Through that, we think that we can grow our Telegram and social media channels, also having cooperation with key influencers. And by key influencers, I mean influencers that have good reputation within the community. There are lots of projects that made a lot of issues in Latin America, a lot of scams, and a lot of projects that promised a lot of things that did not deliver. So I think we have to associate our brand and our project with the right influencers and people that can actually bring us the sort of confidence that we have. Also, collaborating with the local Polkadot ambassadors, that's very important. We are already in conversations with the head ambassadors for both Spanish-speaking countries and Portuguese-speaking countries, which is Alex Alandatea in Lauro Gripa. And we are collaborating with them in those educational efforts. We're also doing some hidden marketing, especially on experimenting on Twitter and YouTube, which is basically going on Twitter threads and saying, hey, what do you think about Equilibrium? Could you give us an overview of what do you think about the project? Do you know Equilibrium? So it's basically trying to get the attention of key influencers and get a feedback from them. And on the more of the business development side, we're doing and starting to research, partnership with popular crypto wallets in the region. There are a few, but we're still looking for the right ones. And of course, looking to list our tokens on popular exchanges and the ones that we believe that can actually do an amazing work with us and collaborate to get more adoption and put our project into the hands of the right people. And I think that's about it. I pass it back to you, Alex, and I'm very happy and honored to collaborate with the Equilibrium community. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Luis, for this comprehensive presentation of our LATAM strategy. I'm sure that it definitely will work out, and the LATAM region has the top priority for us in terms of community engagement. And actually, we believe that we will manage to get a lot of end users through these initiatives. So also, like, I wanted to share some information on our production launch because it's one of the obvious questions to be raised from the community side. Because we, as I said, we haven't managed to get this lot now, but we already have a lot of functionality developed within our team that's actually pending to be released into production, and we actually have made a decision to launch the standalone substrate for Genshiro, and we expect to get this done in August. So there will be like a lot of DeFi functionality released, including our lending platform and bailout functionality, and obviously all the functionality related to our native stablecoin, which is backed to dollar and backed by the crypto collateral basket. And maybe the most anticipated product that we will be also launching is our substrate version of Curve, of the Curve protocol. And given that we have already developed bridges with most popular DeFi ecosystems, Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, we'll be also launching these bridges into production as well. So which means that our substrate will be bridged with one of the most active, or maybe the most active DeFi communities, Ethereum and BC respectively, from the day one. So obviously, the fact of this bridging and the fact that we'll be launching also a liquidity farming program will help us to bootstrap initial liquidity for our platform. And as Peter mentioned when he was covering our DAI integration, we already have some initial arrangements with initial liquidity providers. One of them is StableNode. They will be working with us on DAI liquidity, but besides that, we have other arrangements in place as well. So then later this year, expectedly in September, maybe October, depending on how exactly will things with parachain auctions go, we will be launching our Kusama parachain. And actually, which will require certain efforts from the dev team, including the migration. Also, we are expecting to integrate the BTC bridge, which will definitely drive more liquidity onto our substrate. And as we are currently working on our DEX implementation, we will be releasing this sort of alpha version of these developments into production around this time as well. So later in Q4, we'll be rolling out some more product updates, including fast matching for our decentralized exchange with the use of some layer 2 solution. We also will be working on our API, the API implementation for our DEX, which will expectedly be interesting for institutional market makers who are usually making trades through sort of automated interfaces. And there will be more product updates coming over down the line. We will keep you guys posted regarding all these updates in our social media channels. So if you're not subscribed to our updates yet, please feel free to do that right away. You can find our announcement channel on Telegram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can join our Telegram groups, both Equilibriums and Genshiros. my colleagues will be dropping links to our social media channels into the chats within Crowdcast. And now we actually will be showing you our latest achievements with the developments of our curve implementation. This is long-awaited thing. Let me remind you that we have got a grant from Web3 Foundation, which was supporting these developments. We also have certain arrangements with the curve team, and respectively, we will be airdropping our tokens to their DAO. Peter was also touching on that as well. And there will be a lot of exciting stuff, a lot of exciting functionality rolled out, including the opportunity to basically pledge liquidity pool tokens into our system as a collateral, and also the opportunity to exchange some homogeneous assets on Polkadot and Kusama. So definitely all this functionality will be super useful to both communities of Kusama and Polkadot, and I'm sure we will bring a lot of value to these ecosystems. So without further ado, let me give it over to Peter.
Yes, thank you very much, Alex. Let me share my screen, and Alex, can you stop sharing, please? Because it tells me stream is limited to 4 simultaneous video sources. Yep, thank you. All right. Can you guys see my desktop? Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. All right. So the use case I want to show today basically involves 2 functionalities. First of all, it's the functionality of the curve pool itself. And as you see in our testnet, we already have set up the 4 stablecoin pool, the DAI, BUSD, USDC, and USD, which is our internal stablecoin. And basically what I'll be doing, I'll be bridging some DAIs from the Rinkaby testnet using my MetaMask account. As you can see, I've already claimed some faucet DAIs from there and already been playing with those. And I will be swapping those DAIs within this curve pool, which looks like this currently. Almost every asset is in the same proportion as any other. And I'll be swapping those DAIs to BUSD, and I'll be withdrawing those BUSDs to the Binance Smart Chain, and you will see how it all works smoothly. So let's proceed. First of all, let me see if this account, no. As you can see, this account doesn't hold any DAI tokens, so let's deposit some DAI tokens here. As you can see, the system correctly identified how much DAIs I have in my MetaMask. Well, let's deposit 10. First, I need approve our bridge to spend my tokens. So I'll be signing some transaction in MetaMask. And as you can see, you can always click on the transaction and will lead you to the corresponding block explorer and show you the status. Well, currently it's pending. It's not completed yet. So let's wait on that. And after that, I will be able to deposit my tokens. Let me refresh the page. Well, let's try hitting deposit. Let's see what happens. Okay, I need to confirm the deposit. Now we gotta wait a bit. Blockchain, especially Ethereum, as you know, it's slow compared to Polkadot or the Binance Smart Chain. But let's see. You can see the second transaction. It's the actual transfer. Success. So now let's wait till the relay updates my balance. Takes a while because you know, it reads the Ethereum blockchain and it needs to pass the information back to our substrate. But you should notice that my balance of DAIs should change from 0 to 10 sometime soon.
The guy from the chat is saying that this is why Polkadot will be the new Ethereum.
Yes, we're hoping so, but there are lots of level 2 solutions inside the Ethereum already, like the rollups and ZK Starks, ZK Snarks. So they're working on it as well. Okay, not yet, not yet.
Yeah, and actually, just maybe also I should give some heads up to our community that we are currently working on the interface, so it's just the drafts of that. We'll be making it even more convenient. So there will be kind of status that you'll be seeing here regarding the transaction will be coming over through the bridge, and like here will be the pending status of that. But anyways, like in general, this should give you an impression of how exactly this works right now.
Yeah, still waiting. Probably some issue with our relay, but let's wait a bit. I tested everything today; should be okay. But usually it takes like several minutes to update. Maybe the relay is not up to date with Rinky-Buy blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. Do you have any DAIs on maybe some other account?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, let's proceed and yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure that we will get. Oh, yeah. This
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a different account. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'll show that account later, but let's assume I got my DAI through the bridge, and now I want to swap some amount to BUSD. I will be swapping small amounts because our relays, they hold small amounts of tokens in the testnet, and I can't just put in 10,000 BUSD and withdraw it. We don't have that much liquidity in testnet because faucets only give out like 1 or 10 tokens. But as you can see, the curve interface is pretty simple. You have buy and sell tab here, and you select assets you want to convert and select asset you want to convert to, and you just click the button and sign the transaction. Let me remember my password here. That's one. Yep. And as you can see, I had 10,002 DAIs, and once the transaction will pass, I'll have 10 DAIs less, and I have 9.99 BUSD. So the curve exchange actually happened. And well, to give you a little brief description of the entire interface, there's a deposit withdrawal tab, and you can manage your liquidity here by depositing tokens into the pool or by withdrawing tokens from the pool. I don't have any liquidity on this account, so you won't be able to see any numbers here. Let me switch back to the account I was playing with the curve pool. Yes, and as you can see the numbers, the maximum numbers I can withdraw here. And basically, you can see my total balance. The pool API is too small to actually show anything as of now, and we still have to figure out this number. The profit is incorrect here because I used some of my LPT tokens as a borrower collateral, and I guess we didn't account for that in here. And we also have my dashboard, basically, which shows my totals, my balance, and also my share of the pool currently. So as you can see, on the left are the pool balances, on the right are my shares and my balances. And well, as I told you, let's switch to the borrower portfolio, and I'll show you, that I have on the same account. I have this LP token in the bailout pool. Yeah, as you can see, I deposited it yesterday, and here's the history of that deposit. I deposited 1 million LP tokens. Unfortunately, it doesn't display here correctly. We still got to work on, the mocking and the logos for those LP tokens, but it's here. So that's it for this simple curve interface. And now, since I've got some tech hack, was it right? No, not this one. That means I'll switch to this account. Yes, BUSDs. So I'll be withdrawing them to the Rinky-Buy testnet. Basically, let's withdraw the entire amount. I need to switch my MetaMask to the Binance Smart Chain testnet. I'm sorry. Yes. I'll be using the same account. So just put it in here. No, not the Equilibrium, Binance Smart Chain. Yes. Yes. So I'll be withdrawing my assets. Withdrawal successful. All right. As you can see, I have BUSD balance of 0 tokens. Now let's meanwhile check my other account if my DICE have come. Yes, as you can see, the DICE have been breached successfully. I have now 10 DICE on my balance. That's pretty cool. So now let's go to the Binance Chain testnet and check my Binance Smart Chain account to see if I got my BUSDs there. Uh, 20 seconds ago, as you can see, I got this many Binance USD tokens, and here's my BUSD token balance. So actually, breached worked in both directions, and well, the demo went smoothly. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool, Peter. Thanks very much.
So that's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So look, I think it's really exciting because it actually brings up a lot of cool use cases. So, for example, if you currently want to swap whatever stablecoin into BUSD with the current curve implementation of Ethereum, you can get BUSD on Ethereum. But if you want to use this BUSD on Binance Smart Chain per se, you will need to go to your Binance account and to transfer Ethereum-based BUSD there, and then withdraw to BC, to the BC network, which is kind of complicating the user experience, right? Because now we're eliminating one intermediary step. You don't need to use your Binance account anymore. You just can swap directly between chains and get BUSD on your Binance Smart Chain accounts, and do the reverse swap if you need to get some other stable coins, if you hold some amount of BUSD on the Binance Smart Chain. I'm sure there will be a lot of more implication for this technology, and we are super excited about all this capability with this cross-chain capability, actually. Now it's time for our Q&A session. We don't have that much time, unfortunately, just 12 minutes left. And we have some questions here. So let me take the first one. So Andras asking, how does the mechanism of bailouts work? This is a good question, and actually bailouts is something very innovative that we are bringing up into the DeFi space. So basically, it's sort of the insurance for loans within our system, and it actually opposed to the auctioning mechanism for liquidating debt in case of some margin calls, whatever market circumstances. So we are actually taking different approach. So we're introducing the specific role of bailsmen, who are actually acting as liquidity providers into the system, and they're earning first of all, they're taking the risks of these liquidations, and initially they're taking over debt obligations from borrowers in case of their margin calls or defaults. And actually, since they're securing the system and they're taking the most of the risk, they're earning the significant fraction of interest paid by borrowers. So that is how exactly this works. So actually, you can go through related article in our Medium. We have released a series of article which is explaining how the system works in very simple terms, and I will ask my colleagues to drop links to these series of articles to the chat. Okay, so we have some other questions in Q&A section. Okay, so the first question: when we will be able to stake EQ in general? So this is a very good question. So first of all, our lockdrop is still active, so you can participate in our lockdrop mechanics, which means that you can lock your EQ and then expect to get GENS tokens in exchange on our Genshiro parachain. So I just shared some info on that regarding timelines and stuff. And after you get GENS, you will be able to stake GENS into our bailout pool and start earning on our liquidity farming program, so which will be available from the day one when we launch Genshiro into production. And again, as I said, we're expecting to launch Genshiro into production very soon, in August. Okay, so the next question, what about NFT visualization? I have a cat, but I also want visually inspect it somewhere. Pierre, can you take this question, please?
Yes, sure. Well, I have studied actually lots of Binance Smart Chain NFT hubs, or whatever should we call them, and unfortunately none of them actually support third-party NFTs. So in order to be able to visualize stuff there, you got to create NFTs via their interface, which is really inconvenient, but they all promised this functionality somewhere down their pipeline. And if it's going to be later than sooner, I'm sure we will think of something that we can come up with ourselves, which will be, pretty generic. So we won't penalize anyone or anywhere, and we will basically display any NFT if it has a correct format, either BEP 721 or BEP 1155 formats, and irregardless where or how it was created. We'll definitely think about that, and stay tuned. If we decide to go with that decision, we'll definitely make it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So the guy who was asking this question is saying in the chat that CZ give me my cat. Yeah. So look, it definitely doesn't depend on CZ. It actually depends on the current NFT projects on the Binance Smart Chain, because obviously the problem with the custom NFTs already solved on Ethereum. So basically, you can watch your NFTs through some popular platforms like Rarible and stuff. I'm sure that something similar will appear on Binance soon. But trust, we have put your cat into this NFT, so you definitely hold the cat. So it's not a dog, it's not a whatever bird or parrot or whatever. So it's definitely the cat. Trust us. So it's really our cool community cat. By far. Okay, so the next question: can we stake TSM on Kusama as second crowd loan dates are not yet finalized? So currently our crowd loan campaign is over, and actually you can currently stake your KSM for in the regular staking mechanism on Kusama. Just one thing: if you want to participate in further crowd loan campaigns, you will need to unstake your KSM in advance. I believe in how long it takes? Like 1 week, right?
Yes, 1 week.
To unstake KSM. 1 week, yeah. Okay. So you will need to unstake your KSMs in advance if you want to participate in crowd loan. But again, you still have the opportunity to stake your KSM in the current regular staking mechanism on Kusama and get your interest on that. Okay, so Polka Believer is asking, why do you need DAX? What's the point of it? Because in my view, it's better to concentrate on your financial instruments. Maybe I'm wrong. Very, very good question. So we actually asked this question ourselves in the very beginning of our journey. And this question was related to our lending platform. We asked ourselves whether it's feasible to roll out just a lending platform. And actually, given that we're building on Polkadot, and we actually anticipated that we would be launching things as a standalone substrate at some point, which will happen basically very soon. We actually found out that the lending platform cannot exist in some vacuum, right? So if you borrow something, you need to utilize your loans right away. And actually, most of loans that are currently taking over from lending platforms are utilized for some trading purposes, right? So you can basically open short position, for example, if you're borrowing some assets. Or you can open some leveraged long position if you're borrowing stable coins and doing that multiple times using collateral, converting your borrowed stable coins into some asset. So basically, for some more kind of meaningful way of borrowing and rolling out stable lending platform, not just for some lending sort of liquidity mining purposes, we decided that it will be really relevant to roll out the trading functionality to utilize your loans right away. Because the thing is that our DAX will be heavily leveraging our lending platform and its liquidity. So from this perspective, since most of the traders, I believe, will be trading on margin, this functionality will be extremely useful. So I believe that combining all these use cases like lending, synthetics, and trading, we will deliver the most comprehensive DeFi platform in the space overall. And given its cross-chain capabilities, it definitely is something really outstanding, which hasn't existed yet in the space at all. So this is something innovative that we're building, and I'm sure that DAX will definitely bring a lot of value to our users. Hopefully I addressed your question. So here's another question. What about interoperability with other Polkadot-based DeFi? Theoretically, can I borrow Bifrost tokens on your platform and stake EQ via Bifrost app? Pierre, do you want to address that?
Yeah, definitely. That will come in when both us and Bifrost are parachains, either in Kusama or in Polkadot, and via the cross-chain communications protocol, you will be able to transfer tokens between parachains back and forth, and also the relay chain tokens as well. So in Kusama, will be effectively introducing KSM, and in Equilibrium, will be introducing DOT tokens. Definitely, but the matter of putting assets into our asset lists, it's not only the matter of technical stuff. We still need to see which projects are good, which projects are beneficial for our users, which projects are, they require or they use most of attention of our users, what tokens they desire to see in our platform, and we'll definitely to strive to align interests of our community with the eventual asset lists on our platform. Because ultimately, as I see it for myself, for example, I want to be able to trade or manage some complex portfolios, and not only with crypto assets, but with also some traditional assets as well. And I want to be able to diversify and basically use some products as, an investment portfolio or something like that. Well, I shouldn't probably said that word because regulators might be here as well. But you get the idea. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just a few small questions here. So when will you launch batch 2? It totally depends on Parity. So just keep up with their updates, and as soon as they launch, they announce the second batch of auctions, then we will definitely up to start off our crowdloan campaign as well. Okay. So since CQ holders are suffering because it will take longer until we can start using it, could we have the chance to stake it more months in order to get more gens? This will make more fair our participation in Cube project, which also involve gens, where the beginners. Yeah, so I got the idea. So basically, the guy is asking whether we can provide some opportunities for staking EQ tokens longer rather than we basically introduced in the lockdrop mechanics, whether they can basically get more gens for these mechanics. I should admit that the thing is that we'll be launching Genshiro into production, right? And there will be a lot of staking opportunities. You will be able to use your gens for staking. So probably this overlaps with what you're actually requesting here. But we will take this into consideration and discuss internally. Maybe we'll come up with some ideas. Okay, how do you see the project in 1 year? This is a very abstract question, but you can definitely look at our plans, and it's definitely more than 1 year required to build everything. So our roadmap is pretty packed for the coming, I believe, a year and a half and maybe even 2 years. So we definitely need to polish everything that we're building currently. And since we're building one of the biggest DeFi platforms on Polkadot, it definitely will take some time to get this down. Okay, so when will the Gen EQ will be unlocked in the lockdrop? We already addressed that. I actually addressed that in the presentation. Having said, we have decreased the time for sort of withdrawal with penalty. Actually, gens will be locked for 60 days instead of 90 days. Hopefully, this will be a good sort of compromise for the community, given that things a little bit delayed amidst that we haven't managed to get the slot in this batch of auctions. Okay, so we're running out of time. Thanks very much for joining our today's community call. We definitely appreciate your support. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Join our social media channels, including our Telegram groups, both Equilibrium and Genshiro, and also subscribe to our newsfeed on Telegram. Thanks very much. Until soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Nice talking to you. It was a cool demo day today and perfect presentation. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lisbeth. Thanks,
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
You.
Take care.
Bye-bye.